and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another BENU pen for review, and this is on loan from Derek at Stonecott Fine Writing Supplies. So I'd like to thank Derek for the loan of this pen for review. So I think a little bit about BENU. BENU is a creative brand of writing instruments and desk accessories designed and handcrafted in Moscow, Russia. A daring concept, bold texture, combinations and a vivid colour palette are the key characteristics of the BENU collection. BENU's team of designers and artisans take great care to create highly unusual writing instruments to surprise and delight. The writing instrument industry has a vast range of producers offering a great variety of classic and prestigious pens. What BENU constantly strive for and what BENU wanted from the very beginning was to create something different, something that was playful, stylish and, of course, fun. BENU is a young and trendy Russian brand of writing instruments and accessories. Its story began in January 2016 when co-founders Alex and Kate decided to join forces to set up a new creative concept. Right from the start, the aim was clear: to make writing instruments and desk accessories for those who prefer bold, bright colours and new designs. Both Alex and Kate have experience in fine watch, jewellery and home decor markets, launching multiple successful projects over the last 15 years. Being great admirers of the art of creating fountain pens, they decided to create BENU, a new brand of writing pens and accessories. The first collection of BENU pens was launched in October 2016 with their efforts, the help of several contractors and the immense support of family and friends. The BENU is an ancient Egyptian deity associated with the sun, creation and rebirth. The BENU bird is also one of the oldest known names of the phoenix, a majestic and divine creature that dies and is reborn throughout time. As BENU is also a bird, the fact that the quills are one of the most well-known prototypes of fountain pens and most commonly used symbols of writing instruments makes a bird a perfect symbolic representation of a company that produces pens and desk accessories. So I think let's take a look at this pen. So this is the box that it comes in, and you can see here this is the Charmin Chameleon and this is in a fine nib. So let's take off the box lid, and you have a pen in a pouch. And then you'll see a number of things here. You will see the BENU instructions, and this is all about product care of your pen in a concertina there. You'll also get an international cartridge as well. This is a long cartridge. And then you get this sort of packing bed material, like shredded paper. So I do like the fact that this is a very nice reusable box. And then you have the BENU pen. And if I remove the pen, you'll see here that this is the Chameleon. And this is the Charmin Chameleon. So the Chameleon is a pen that does actually change colour depending on the light sources here. And you can see here that there is actually quite a lot of sort of glitter in the pen here, quite a lot of sparkles. And this really is quite a nice looking pen. So you'll see here it says BENU there on the midpoint of the pen, and then if I rotate it around, you'll see that it is faceted and it's more of like a triangular shape. So you'll see here the cap finial and the blind cap are just pointed, and then the pen comes right out to a point and then tapers out to this part. Then you have the cap band, and then the body, it tapers back in again. Now this is a screw pen or screw cap, and if I remove that, you will see here it has a number 5 size nib, and this is a fine nib, and it comes with an ABS plastic feed. Now the pen is actually quite a nice length in my hand. I tend not to hold pens down right on the section here, especially when I find a pen has a very narrow, or sort of in terms of girth, narrow section, thin section. So I tend to hold my pens a little bit higher up nowadays, and that way then it stops me getting ink on my fingers as well. So I actually hold this one up around about the threads. Now, you can post a cap. Now, the interesting thing is, this is, as you saw, a screw cap. However, when you put this on, I don't know if you can hear this, it clicks. And I like that, because that actually makes it feel quite secure. So, for me, now that does make it a little bit of a wand. So if you do want to post your pens, then you can do this. The only thing that I would say is that the nib doesn't line up with the name BENU there. And it may do on other pens, it may not. And you can see that there is a little ridge here where the cap actually clicks on. And that's how it clicks into place. So in terms of length, I find that this pen is actually quite long enough on its own. And if I unscrew the body, you'll see it has a standard international converter as well, so you can fill it up with any bottled ink that you have in your collection. But for me, I find that this is actually a very comfortable pen to actually hold and write with without having to post the cap. But if you do like posting the cap, then clearly you can post it if you want to. So I think with that, let's go and do a size check, a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we're looking at 135mm. The length of the cap is 73mm in length. So the cap is actually quite long. If you look at this, it really is quite long compared to the actual sort of where the cap screws onto the body. Now we'll do a check on the length of the pen. We're looking at about 128mm in length to the tip of the tines on the nib. Now, the full weight of the pen, uninked, is just under 20 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we're looking at just under 5.5 grams in weight. And then the weight of the pen, we're looking at just under 14.5 grams in weight. So that's not a bad weight pen. So, from left to right, we have an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Diamond Nebula, an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Black Ice, an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra, an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Dragon. We have a BENU Charming Chameleon. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge, an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Tectonic Seas. We have a John Twist Volcano. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii. And then we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the sand. So, I think let's do a writing sample. So, this is the BENU, and it's the Charming, and it's the Chameleon. Now, this is a fine nib, and it's a still nib. And then the ink in here today is Pilot, Iroshizuku, and it's Murasaki Shikabu. And if we do a line variation test, you will see that this is a fine nib. If I try to push it a little bit harder, you'll see that I can get a little bit more line variation out of it. And then you can do the figure of eights there. And then you can do a little bit more line variation. Now, in terms of wetness test, this is a fine nib. But it's actually quite wet in itself. It's quite a wet writing nib. Now, this is a fine nib, and I don't typically go for fine nibs. I do find this a little bit more on the crisp side of writing. So it's almost like a crisp italic, this fine nib. You can get this in other nib variations as well. You can get it in mediums and broads. So you can get it in whatever nib type that you want it in. But for me, for this fine nib, I'm finding it's writing quite well, but it does have that crisp italic kind of sort of squareness to the nib. So kind of has a little bit of a sweet spot there that you need to be having your angle of the nib when you're writing correctly. But for me, I like this pen and I like the design of it. I like the Chameleon and I like how the colour does change. So I'd like to thank Derek from Stonecott Fine Writing Supplies for loaning me this pen for review. If you want to check out this pen and other BENU pens, go and check Derek out at Stonecott Fine Writing Supplies. So again, I'd like to thank Derek for loaning me this pen for review. So that's my review of the BENU Charming Chameleon. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.